This is the Nikon Z6III, a camera that I think might be in with a shout for Camera of the Year. This is the new Nikon Z6III, 24.5 megapixel, partially stacked CMOS sensor. It has the same autofocusing system as the Nikon Z8. Internal 6K 60 RAW recording is possible in this tiny camera, which is insane. You can do up to 120 frames per second in 4K video as well, but that's with the cropped sensor from the DX format. It has full weather sealing, really nice lovely ports on here as well. It has a flip out screen, which is cool, handy. Ergonomically, it's very similar to the Z6II. The button layout is exactly the same actually. There is an extra button here for illumination, but the grip is very similar, but a tiny bit more substantial, because if you look at the Z6II here, the body is just a little bit thicker, like millimeters thicker. And I think that's also obviously to accommodate the screen mechanism, as you can see there. But it just makes it a much nicer camera to use, in my opinion. It can shoot up to 120 frames per second with e-shutter, but you're using the DX format. If you want to use the full 24 megapixels, then your e-shutter can only do up to 60 frames per second, which is still pretty good. And yes, it does have a mechanical shutter in it, which is going to be something that a lot of people will be happy to hear. We have user customizable mode dial settings as well, 1, 2, and 3. It's a tiny bit taller than the Z6 and a little bit more chunky, but not much. I mean, if you're still comparing it to a Z8 in terms of size, the Z8 is a much more significant camera and clearly a high-end pro body. But the Z6III does have the same autofocusing system as the Z8, which again is really amazing to see them do that, to filter some of those really impressive specs down to the lower end of the range. We've got an XQD CF Express slot and an SD card slot. We're using the same battery as the Z8 as well. The Nikon EN EL15C is the battery in that. One of the most impressive things for me with the Z6III is this new viewfinder. And obviously I'm not going to be able to show you just how good it is in a video, but describing it to you, it is one of the brightest and highest resolution viewfinders I've seen, especially in this class of camera. It's a 5760K resolution viewfinder with up to 4000 nits of brightness, and it's the first viewfinder I've seen from Nikon, and possibly anyone else actually, that can display the DCI P3 color gamut. It also has a fully sealed body, a vari-angle screen, which also is a 2100K resolution screen. You have 8 stops of vibration reduction, which not only is a benefit for shooting stills and video, but you can handhold this camera while doing the high-res pixel shift mode. In terms of video, we've got up to 6K 60 NRAW video internally. You can also do 4K 120 recording with the DX crop. It can do up to 240 frames per second video in full HD. You've got line-in audio support, ProRes RAW HQ, ProRes 422 HQ, H.265 and H.264 video codecs, all within the camera. You don't need anything extra to access those, but that means you've got 12-bit RAW and 10-bit log recording in the Z6III. Super impressive video for a camera that has, like I mentioned, 8 stops of vibration reduction. So you've got stable video and high resolution video all within what Nikon are calling a mid-range camera, which seems crazy to say when you've got those kind of specs in the Z6III. So who is the Z6III for? Ultimately, this camera is highly capable, whether you're shooting stills or video. There are very few situations where I can imagine this camera letting you down. As I mentioned in my introduction, I think it will be one of the camera releases of 2024. It is highly capable. You've got 6K 60 internal raw video in this camera. It even has the AF system from the Z8. I mean, come on. It can shoot stills up to 120 frames per second with autofocus and auto exposure. 8 stops of vibration resistance. Amazing EVF. Like I said in the introduction, I think this will be one of the camera releases of 2024. It's a really exciting camera. I think Nikon have absolutely knocked it out of the park in terms of bringing down high-end features lower down into their range. I think the price point might put some people off, but when you consider what the Z6III is offering, I don't think you can expect them to get the price much lower than that, at least at RRP. They need to leave retailers some room to offer deals on this thing. If they charged any less, they're basically giving it away. I haven't had a chance to shoot with it in my studio or in other situations where I'd like to test it in yet, but my first impression is really, really positive. That's just what I think. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If there were any things that you wanted to ask that maybe I haven't answered, also let me know in the comments and I'll try and answer those as quickly as I can. But yeah, thank you for watching and I'll see you guys in another video.